what's going to happen to what? They're going to, like, either change what they're teaching or change where they're teaching. So either they can come over and join 6th grades, or they can, like, move to 5th grade or 4th grade or whatever. So a lot of teachers can teach more than what they teach. You know what I mean? So a 6th grade teacher can teach more than just 6th grade.
Wait a second. Are the 6th graders going to be with us next year? No.
Not for Phoenix. Phoenix is not adding on 6th grade at the current time.
They're going to Perry.
Well, Perry. Right, that's Phoenix. Alright, so I decided I'm going to dock Cam today because I want to make sure we get a video recorded of this for anyone who's absent, because it's one of the last kind of, like, I don't want to say important lessons, but like new material lessons. Right, so we've got Wholesome Food Company here. So guys, we got this question at the top of our notes to start us off about what makes a claim valid. So if you've already started working on these homeworks, think back to them. If you haven't started working on them, guys, the due dates were marked as Friday. I'm not going to put them in MAP until later this week, so you still got time, but I want them showing up as like late, hey, do this, get it taken care of. I'm not going to mark it as late in MAP. So know that these assignments, the inferences and valid claims, I'm not going to put those in MAP yet. But the other stuff that was due last week, the probability stuff, let's try to get that done. So come ask me for help if you need. Are we okay?
Was this the last of the content?
Of the 7th grade content, yes.
Wait.
We're gonna start to look at intro to next year, like making sure we're prepared for that stuff, which is really just review of what we did at the beginning of the year, because 8th grade does the same stuff that we do, right? It's a bit more difficult. So solving equations, angle relationships, like it's the same sort of stuff. So actually, I can put these up here too, because I know my dot cam sometimes is hard to see. I guess I don't have any volunteers to talk about what makes a claim valid. Could I ask you guys... Gravity works. Could I ask you guys if you think Worthington should all schools like go till 5 at night, or switch to year-round school, or things like... Could I ask you guys and then make a decision for the whole district?
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I could, right? That probably wouldn't be appropriate. Mia, why?
Because everyone else would want to say, like, it's just not like the Phoenix kids are affecting everybody else.
So they'd probably claim that it was invalid for me to do something like that. And Mia, if you couldn't hear, said, because it's only the Phoenix kids. Right? So if we look at this situation, what word do you think we should highlight here? What's really important in the setup of what they tell us? We literally just started talking about problem number 1. Nate, you got a guess of what's real important? Yeah, 15% is going to be important, but there's something before that that's like, we got to pay attention to it. Miriam? Ooh. Now, all the students is actually kind of misleading. I would highlight baseball team. Right, and not just baseball players, but baseball players specific to Ridgemont High. Oh, that's fun. Ridgemont High. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's a movie. So not only is it specific to baseball, it's specific to Ridgemont. So yeah, 15%. That is what we found out. But when we look at what we can say as a valid claim, which of these could we actually say? Take a moment, read on your own. Did we talk specifically with outfielders? So that seems weird. Could, when we look at C, could it make a judgment about the whole school based off the baseball team? No. So, B. Right? 15%, my percent matches, but Ridgemont High, baseball team at Ridgemont High. Go ahead and look at the second one on your own. I'm going to random card ask for your opinion on whether this one is a bit more fair than the baseball one or what's going on here. Bigger percentage than broccoli. Stella, what do you think here? So what would you highlight here? Okay, randomly selected students. Is it like at Walmart, they're just saying like, hey, you're a high school student, come talk to me. Ah, so at Ridgemont High. Right, so like, we could go stand outside of Walmart and like take a survey, but they went to the high school. Excuse me, like in the cafeteria, something like that. They got kids from the whole school though, right? So not just baseball team now. So down here when we say which inference can we make, can we say something about all teenagers? Why? Well, do we have to add, like, can we ever ask all teenagers?
There would be millions.
So this brings up an important word that we call sample. And it's in the header of your notes. A sample is who we're looking at, right? So the sample is a small group that tells us something about the bigger group. So our small group in the first problem was the baseball team of Ridgemont High School. Might tell us something about the bigger high school, but probably not because it was just baseball team. But if our sample changes to high school students at Ridgemont High, we can now probably talk about something involving the entire high school. So all teenagers is still not allowed, though, because we didn't get a diverse group of teenagers. What if Ridgemont High is like the preppy school where all the rich people go, right? Or like, you know, whatever. Those like, oh, well, that school's the whatever school. Like, it's one school. So still, it says, so A says about 67% of all students at Ridgemont High prefer pizza. B says 67% of students in the sample prefer pizza for lunch, but we cannot conclude anything about the population. It's A, but can anyone tell us when B might be appropriate? When wouldn't we be able to conclude anything about the population?
Like with the first question, with the baseball team.
Yeah, when your sample is too small. If your sample is too small, it doesn't work. Right? We can't really conclude anything about the broader population. So we can say something about Ridgemont, but we can't talk about the broader, like, teenager population. Now, randomly selected is good. That's a good thing. Can anyone tell me how something could be not randomly selected? Lily, what do you think? So what if you just pick, like, your friends? Yeah. Is that random? No. What if I just pick, like, the students I like? It's like, well, first off, we don't play favorites. Well, actually, I do. I like the students that do their work. I'm just going to put it out there. I like the students that put in effort, right? But, like, if I choose only the students I want to choose, that's not random. That's not fair. It's not fair. Guys, if your brain says, well, that's not fair, that's math, right? That your brain is, like, calculating, wait a minute, this is not a good representation. Lacey?
I was gonna say that, like, if you want the people who had pizza in their lunch.
Right?
Yeah, like.
It's like if you wanted to make a survey about should we serve ice cream in the Phoenix cafeteria.
Yes.
Like, and you go to the people that you know like ice cream, of course you're going to get the results you want. So if the dentists, if Crest goes to the dentist that they send free toothpaste to, and they say, hey, do you tell your patients to use Crest? And they're like, well, yeah, you sent me all this free Crest. Of course I give it away. Like, they know. Guys, that whole 4 out of 5 dentist thing, like, I'm trying to teach you how to think about, like, is that really fair or true or valid? So go ahead and read the next one. Entertainment Committee. Well, you're ahead. I know. It's because I couldn't copy it all. It wouldn't fit. The Entertainment Committee at Maple Crest Junior High School has narrowed down the theme of which spring choice. I can't read. I can't read out loud. Disco Fever, Crazy 80s, or hip hop till you drop.
Wait, so will we get cancer?
I have no way to predict that. I would hope.
Don't we get to travel to Florida?
Excuse me. I mean, it all depends on how quote unquote normal things get back to.
Would Terry get how middle school if our elementary school is now meeting in Terry?
You guys have really good questions. You have really good. I don't know. I'm not like, guys. I don't know if I've like been a good enough fake this year that this hasn't gotten through. I don't know what's going on. I don't know anything except for some math. I teach whoever shows up. I just go with the flow.
Well, aren't you the main teacher?
The main teacher? What does that mean? Look, Mrs. Goldring's in charge of this whole circus. Well, I don't know. That's who I go to when I don't know what's going on. Really, Mrs. Pettigrew's the schedule guru. You're asking really good questions, but I don't have all the answers. So, I mean, I don't know. My plant is fired. So, which of these is most fair for conducting your survey? So let's imagine you're on the entertainment committee. Would you rather, you're trying to be unbiased, right? You're trying to be fair. Would you rather each of the 10 committee members can ask 10 friends to obtain a sample of 100 people? Or would you rather assign a number to each student and use a computer program to generate 100 random numbers between 1 and 2,000, asking those students who get selected? Isaiah, what do you think? You were looking at the back, weren't you? What'd you say on the last one on the front? Why'd you say B? Why is that better than us going and asking our friends? Yeah, guys, I don't like the word easy, right? But what I want to say is your brain is made for this. When you think about, well, that's not fair, your brain is made for this. When you look at the chocolate chip cookies and one has like 2 chocolate chips and the other has 20, like, you know how to think about fairness. So yeah, B here, right? Assign random numbers, use a random number generator, pick those people. I don't know. Maybe they changed, like, you might be noticing something that is true. Bounce Club. Interesting place. Surveyed a random sample of 55 of their members about their favorite type of music. Of the members surveyed, 22 said jazz. If there are 422 Bounce Club members, based on this data, how many do we think in the club would say jazz. How do we set this up? What do we use? It's one of those, the thingamajig doodads. The
Doodad. What?
Yeah, the thingamajig doodad.
I mean, I started by dividing how many people said jazz by how many people were surveyed.
So, you said, do jazz over the total that were surveyed?
Yeah,
If I can
and
spell.
multiply that by the number of members.
So, jazz was 22. You're right, but I want to make sure that we also look at the other way that we can do this. So Miriam said if we do this division, we'll get a decimal, or like a percent value in a way. And then she used that to multiply by the total members. There's another way we can do this using our proportional thinking. Lacey?
I was gonna say, couldn't we like simplify it to make it just 2 divided by 5?
We could. This could really simplify down to 2/5.
Because they're both divisible by 11.
Guys, give me your eyes on the board. What we want to do, or what will always work, use a proportion. What you know out of the total, based off the data you collected, right? What you know out of the total. Sorry, my camera thing is so laggy. The software updated, and I feel like it got worse, so I got to figure out how to deal with this. So what we're trying to do is figure out this. Just like we've done all year, if we're trying to figure out this direction, divide it the opposite direction. So grab your calculator, do 422 divided by 5. Now, you don't even really need to write that number down. All you need to do is multiply it by your numerator. So in your calculator, literally just then hit times 2. And this comes out to be...
168.
So whatever number they would have that is close to 168, I think they had 169 in con. Or sometimes they go with the nice number of like 170, like they like round it. So what Miriam did, because I want to make sure that we talk about that, because it is a really good way, is she took the portion we had divided by the total, got that decimal number, and multiplied that by the total people, which also gets us the same answer. Right, so that is another way we can do this. Try the next problem on your own with the gym class. Ha, bowling. I love bowling.
I go with my parents all the time, and that's the one thing my best friend's family won't do is because, like, her dad gets really mad about bowling.
I was only one time on a clip, so first
I think this totals up to 40. So I got 13 for bowling, over 40 total were surveyed. What do I put over here? Well, I think I have to use this 528. Is 528 the people that want bowling, or is that a total? That's a total students, right? Now, we could also cross multiply here, but we've been doing so much with proportions this year. If we're writing this workout, guys, I know that today is like one of those days. I woke up at like 4:30 and could not get back to sleep, and then I was like, wait, it's Monday? And I had to really talk myself into the fact that it was Monday. Like, you know when you look at your phone and it says Monday, but you're like, no. Like, I get, like, and I feel that we're all just kind of deflated and like we're tired and whatever. I just need your attention for like 2 more questions, and if you want to take a nap for the next 20 minutes, I don't care. I just want to make sure that we've talked about these things, and then I'm going to give you time to work on con, because a lot of us are late. But if you have questions, especially about this part right here, please ask questions right now. So we're trying to figure out how we go from 40 to 528 to figure out the multiplication. We divide, right? Whenever we don't know how to multiply, we divide. Nate? Let's find out. Yep. Yeah, so since down on the bottom it multiplied by 13.2, on the top it multiplies by 13.2. So that times 13. Yeah, what'd you get, Nate? 171.6. So really, we got to round because no partial people. One-eyed, one-horn, flying partial people. Oh, wait, purple people. Questions on solving that proportion? Yes. But partial people always makes me think of that song. Try Emmanuel's on your own. I'm going to actually pull mine down so you can't see my work for Emmanuel's. Careful, there are some distracting numbers here. Like the 2 and fewer than 2. Does that 2 matter? Not really. Like, that's not a 2 we're going to do math with, right? Like, that's not a number we need for the math. If we don't know how to multiply, we divide. You forgot your 2-liter and you made a parent bring it to you? Drew. You owe them, like, taking out the trash or something. If they made a special trip here for your bottle. Now, I could be wrong. But by you not saying anything, I'm guessing I might be right. You did what? What? Why? How? Was it super high and you mowed it high and then you mowed it shorter? Yeah, that's. I actually kind of need to do that. I mowed high last week and I need to mow shorter this week. You change the level of the wheels. They're dials, not dials, really flat. Yeah. Did you think you are always stuck mowing at the same height? Yeah. Do you mow your grass? Look at your lawnmower. There are normally 5 settings for the wheels. Like 1 would be the shortest and 5 would be the highest. So I mowed at like 4 last week. Nope. Yeah, ask your parents. Whenever you're using a tool, make sure you ask about it. All right, so speaking of tools, math is a great tool. People working on cars need tools. I don't know. I'm trying to get the segue. It's not really working. So, if we don't know how to multiply, we divide. We figure out this is a multiplication by 6.8. What do we get here? Help me out, guys. What do we get here? 102. Yeah? 6.8 times 15. There we go. 102. And the last question here is a tiny bit different. All I want to do is have us look at comparing data and comparing the distribution. So, if we look at this, what sort of things could we say? That's why I didn't put a question here. I want to know, what do you observe from this data? So the dot plot shows the 40-yard dash times in seconds of the defensive backs on each team's roster. What would you, based off this data, what would you say about the Ravens versus Kansas City? Nate? Well, that's not a mathematical word. Aside from like inward vacuum pressure, but I don't think that's what you're talking about. So give me more. Is this wins? Nate, I'm going to go ahead and let you read the problem and move on to somebody else that maybe read the problem already. Madeline, what would you say? You said the Ravens run faster than the Chiefs? So what makes you say that? The Ravens do?
Well, I think the Ravens have a player that's faster, but the Chiefs have like.
But these have more high up points. Oh wait, speed. When we're talking fast, we want low points. So, Nate, I don't know if you just have something against the Ravens, but the Ravens are faster. What this is showing us is the Ravens, all four of these guys, sorry, I'm assuming they're guys because we're talking about pro football. Sorry, go change the world and make that be different. All of these guys are faster than the rest of the Chiefs. Now, there are still some of the Ravens that are running at the same speed as the Chiefs, but in general, the Chiefs are slower than the Ravens when we're talking about defensive backs, right? So with this defensive back specific data, what we would say is, yeah, the Ravens are faster. They've got more fast people, I guess we could really say. Now, does that mean the Ravens will win? No, not necessarily. This is just a piece of data. Questions? Did you have some money on it or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had $400.
What'd you do to earn that $400 that you decided to gamble with it? Do you what? I hope you're joking, because that's a lot of money to gamble on a football game. It's work time, so last 10 minutes, which is really only like 10 minutes at this point. Do con, do whatever, take a nap, I don't care. Some of you guys look like you need a nap, and that's alright. That's a good